welcome back to my channel, Denim Vixen. It's Cathy, and today I don't have a haul, I don't have empties, I don't really have a product review. I am just doing the grown-ass woman tag that Marnie, Miss Gold Girl, did with her friend, Erin Busby, two really fun channels to watch. If you haven't seen their channels, which I have a feeling you probably have, if you're watching my channel, you probably watch them because you probably watched them first. But I will link their channels below so you can watch them in case you haven't seen them. But I really liked their grown-ass woman tag, so I decided to tag myself, which they basically said, tag yourself. We're not going to tag specific people, tag yourself if you want to. And so here I am. I apologize for the lighting today. I'm doing this video a little later in the day, and on top of it, it's kind of a dreary, it's kind of like a hot and muggy day. Once again, I feel like I think I moved to the swamp because, you know, this is not normal weather here for us in Southern California. It is hot, it's muggy, it's been like 90 degrees, and I'm thinking that we might be having like monsoon type weather. So I wouldn't be surprised if it rained. In case you're wondering what the weather was like here in Newport Beach, I'm just going to let you know. I'll be your weather girl today. But I'm hoping that it's going to start cooling down. But anyway, let's start the tag. First question is, what would you tell your 20-year-old self? Well, I'm just going to do a generalization here. I'm not going to just keep it to 20. I'm going to keep it to my 20s because I've grown a lot since my 20s. But sometimes I think, oh gosh, I wouldn't change a thing because what I did in my 20s made me who I am today. However, there are a few things. Maybe I do have a few regrets. And some of those regrets would be probably the number one thing I would tell my 20-something-year-old self if I would have listened to myself, was don't get distracted by boys. I had so many dreams, so many plans for myself that kind of got set aside on the back burner, so to speak, because I met some guy and I, would rather spend time with that guy than doing what I really wanted to do, pursuing those goals and dreams that I had planned for myself. There's so many things in your 20s that you can do in your 20s that you can't necessarily do in your 30s or 40s. So definitely don't get distracted by boys. Just unless it's really true love. But then, is it really true love? It's hard to say. I know for me it wasn't. So because where are those guys now? Nowhere to be found. So yeah, let's just leave it at that. The next question, what were your favorite 80s and 90s bands? Well, if you follow my channel, you know one of my favorite 80s bands was not necessarily a band, but it was an artist named Rick Springfield. I know you know who he is if you're in your 40s and 50s. It's funny when you bring up his name now to say someone in their 20s, they have no clue as to who that is, but that's okay. And yes, one day I'm just still, fingers crossed, really wanting to meet Rick. I don't know what I would do or say if I ever met him, but I've touched his back once at a concert. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what I would do or say if I met him. It's just one of those things. And as far as a band from the 80s goes, I, along with every other teenage girl from the 80s, was in love with, and still is in love with, Duran Duran. Now, I was supposed to also be married to Simon Le Bon. So maybe supposedly after Rick and I got divorced, I was supposed to perhaps marry Simon. And well, as you see, that didn't really work out. But that's okay because I think everything worked out the way it was supposed to work out. But yeah, those are probably my two favorite musical acts of the 80s. I do have a funny Simon Le Bon story back in the 90s when they were doing, I won't say it was a comeback tour, but well, I guess it kind of was a comeback tour. Maybe they never stopped touring, but I was really wanting to see them in LA, and I had a crazy boyfriend, one of those boyfriends from my 20s that was kind of a jerk, and he said he didn't want to take me to the concert. He had tickets, but he was going to take somebody else. And so I was very, very upset about that, venting to a really good girlfriend of mine who said, well, I happen to know someone who is friends with one of their managers or tour manager, somebody in their group. And she said, if you want to go see them, I can make arrangements for you to see them in Vegas. So I said, okay. This probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, but I went on a blind date with some strange guy who flew me out to Vegas to go see Duran Duran. And I guess, I thought, if nothing else, I mean, who knows, maybe I'll like this guy that I'm going out with. It was kind of a blind date, but it turned out I didn't really like him. But we still had fun on the date. But as we were boarding the plane to go to Vegas, I could kind of feel somebody, how you can feel people looking at you? I could feel somebody kind of looking at me, and I looked down, and it was the guy sitting in first class in the seat 1C. I took a closer look at him, and it happened to be Simon Le Bon. And so, of course, I was just giddy with excitement, looked at him and said, oh my gosh, we are coming to your show tonight, and I'm so excited. And he was like, oh, thank you. He was very polite, very sweet. And then the whole flight to Vegas, all I could think of was, oh my gosh, Simon Le Bon is sitting in first class in 1C as I was sitting in my coach seat drinking my Dr. Pepper or whatever it was I had. So anyway, when we got to Vegas, we ran to baggage claim, and my date went off to go get a cab to take us to our hotel. And lo and behold, who comes walking up to me in baggage claim? Simon Le Bon. He initiated a conversation with me. Now, I, of course, was speechless. I was I couldn't speak. He was asking me questions, talking to me, and I was just like, And then my date came, and they started having a conversation, and I was just like, oh, whatever. So anyway, we ended the conversation. I muttered something to him, I'm sure, and then he went on his merry way. We went our merry way, and we went to the show later that evening, and that was my funny Simon Le Bon experience. But the fact that he came up and started talking to me made my life. Well, after I threw myself at him on the airplane, of course, but the fact that he remembered that and came up and talked to me was really very exciting. But okay, so let's move on to the next question. Actually, the second part of the question is your favorite 90s bands, and I will have to say my favorite 90s bands are probably like the Backstreet Boys and 98 Degrees. Boy bands. I know, my taste in music is just impeccable according to my husband and many of his friends. But yeah, those are the people that I liked. The next question is favorite TV show from the 80s and 90s. So let's see, from the 80s, Love Boat. Hands down, Love Boat. I mean, who didn't want to be on the Love Boat? Or Fantasy Island. I mean, come on, I wanted to be Vicky, when Captain Steubing's long lost daughter showed up. I mean, who didn't want to be Vicky, right? She got to meet all the cute guys, all the hot guys from the 80s, like Scott Baio, and I don't know who all was on that show. Was Ralph Macchio? I don't know. He might have been on, but Charo. Oh, Charo. Love that Charo. Love Boat. And Fantasy Island, I mean, I just wanted Fantasy Island to be real. I wanted to go to Fantasy Island. But yeah, those are the best shows of the 80s. Now, let's move on to the 90s. Hands down, Melrose Place. Come on, once again. I mean, I guess I get too involved in my shows. I get very attached to my characters. But Billy and Allison were like the bomb. And then, of course, we got Heather Locklear in there. We threw her into the mix. And then Jake. And I don't know who were all the people on Melrose. I don't remember who all the people were on Melrose Place. But I do remember it being on Monday nights. And that was the perfect Monday night date. If you met somebody, at least I had many dates that started out as, hey, let's go to my house and watch Melrose Place on Monday night. Let's order pizzas and have beer and wine. I'd say Melrose Place definitely was a big part of my 90s dating scene. Oh, and here's another funny story. Being a flight attendant, sometimes we have firsthand knowledge of different Hollywood rumors just due to seeing things with our own eyes. But I was working a flight, I don't remember where, maybe LA, Boston, don't know. But Allison and Billy, what were their names? Courtney Thorne-Smith and Andrew Shue came on one of my flights together. They sat in coach. And they were clearly together, and this was kind of before it was announced that they were a couple. So I guess we had, you know, a little inside scoop and knowledge of their little romance. And, you know, obviously it didn't last too long, but that was kind of exciting to tell all your friends, yeah, Billy and Allison are really dating. But yeah, those were my favorite shows in the 80s and 90s. There were some more, but those are the ones that really stood out. What was your favorite Atari game? Well, yes, I had an Atari. I think we all had Ataris, didn't we? But I'd have to say I loved playing Ms. Pac-Man and Frogger. And yes, my kids are pretty much the exact same way I was when I played Atari. They're the same way with their iPads and whatever video games they want to play on. Yeah, my mom couldn't get me off of them either, but oh, now I understand. I understand her frustration now. Okay, question number 5. Do you rely on Spanx? Depends on what I'm wearing. Yeah, when I go to work, yeah, I wear Spanx because I wear like a suit or a dress as a flight attendant, and I just want to look, I believe in still looking a little glamorous as a flight attendant. That's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of flight attendants now don't feel that way, but I still kind of feel like I love putting my heels on. I love wearing my lipstick and polishing my nails because I'm all girl, and I love just being that glamorous flight attendant. So part of the glamour in my 40s that goes with that is trying to look nice and slim, and yes, I'd say Spanx / shapewear is yeah, kind of a part of my uniform. However, no, in day-to-day life, no, I don't rely on Spanx because you don't really need Spanx for sweats, do you? Back in the 60s, stewardess days, I'd say not necessarily Spanx, but the Spanx of the day, just a girdle, was part of the issued uniform for the girls. I don't know about the guys. There really weren't that many guys that worked back then, but for the girls, it was like they handed them their girdle, their eyelashes, and their white gloves. And they would say, welcome aboard. And they would do girdle checks. Like, it was actually a part of their uniform. They would actually, and there's no way this could even fly today, literally speaking. They would do like girdle checks, snap their girdles to see if they actually had them on. I would like to see somebody trying to snap a Spanx today at work. What are your thoughts on Botox? Well, if you watch my channel, you know what my thoughts are on Botox. I am fully addicted to Botox. I highly believe in it, along with other fillers and injections. I see no reason in being able to move your forehead or other parts of your face if you choose not to do it. I see a big difference. So yes, I'm all for Botox. Next question. If you could have only one beauty product, what would it be? I think it would be mascara. And that's just at the age that I am today. I'm not saying my skin is perfect, but I have better skin now than I had in my 20s and 30s. So I could actually probably, I don't feel uncomfortable going out in public without makeup. So I'm fine with that. But if you could just open up your eyes a little bit, and everyone knows that a good mascara can just give you a little bit of, I can't even think of the word, but it definitely just brightens up your face a little. So I'd say that the one beauty product that I would choose if I had to would probably be mascara. However, I hope that I never have to choose because I like a little bit of lipstick too. And I like a good foundation, and I like concealer. And of course, you know, it's nice to have good eyebrows, and you know, I hope I don't have to choose. Please don't put me in that position. Okay. Biggest body change since 40. Well, I would say I used to have a really nice waist when I was in my 20s and 30s. Then I had children and my waist just, yeah, it comes and goes, but it's a lot harder to get back into shape once those children have kind of come into the world and you've passed your 40th birthday. So yeah, I'd say that's been my biggest body change, my waist. Question number 9, which isn't really a question, it is finish this sentence. I wish I was more blank. So let's see. I wish that I was more, sometimes I wish I was more confident. I think I'm pretty confident overall, which is something that just comes naturally as you age. The older you get, the more confidence you get, the less you care, I should say. Like, you know, as you get older, people just kind of speak their mind and just do what they want and say what they want, and no one really thinks twice about it, other than people think you're just a crazy old person. But the closer I get to being that crazy old person, the less I think they're crazy. But I think, yeah, I wish I was more confident. Do I wish I was more confident? Maybe sometimes I wish I was more fun. No, because I think I'm pretty fun. Yeah, let's just leave it at confident. I wish I was more confident. Last but not least, number 10, choose one: bags, shoes, or something else. I'd say I'm gonna go with the bags and the shoes, because if I were to go with something else, there's so much I could go with that I wouldn't be able to narrow that down. So between bags and shoes, probably handbags. I love shoes, but quite honestly, as much as I love shoes, and based on the number of shoes that I have, I don't wear them very much. I pretty much wear like 3 pairs of shoes, and 2 of them are flip-flops. So yeah, I'd say the handbags are way more fun for me. And there you go, there's my grown-ass woman tag. Now I think that I will tag a few people. You can choose to answer these questions if you want. It's hard for me to kind of choose because I need women who are over 40, and I know some of my subscribers that have channels are really young, so you wouldn't even be able to answer these questions. So I'm not going to tag you guys because clearly you can't answer the questions. It's not because I don't love you, because I do, but I need people who are over 40. I know that Christine Richards watches my channel, so Christine, I tag you. Let's see. I'm also going to tag Stung by Samantha. She is over 40 and she is really cool. If you haven't watched her channel, I'll link her below. You might like her videos. And I'm going to tag, oh, I think I'll tag Lisa D1, because you know what, I don't ever really see her being tagged, or maybe she's tagged all the time but she chooses not to tag. But I'm going to tag her because of her. She's the one who inspired me to start my YouTube channel. So, and I know she's over 40. So Lisa D1, you are tagged. And I think I'll tag Elle from Elle is for Living, because I know that you've watched my channel before. And I think these are good questions for you too. So there's my tags. I hope that you choose to do this. I mean, don't feel pressured. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but I think these are kind of fun questions. So thank you, Marnie and Aaron, for coming up with this tag. This is a really, really fun tag. And for those of you who don't make videos, feel free to tag yourself. I would love to hear the answers to these questions in your comments. If you want, because these are kind of fun questions, and you know, it's kind of neat to kind of see how we felt, since a lot of them were like from the 80s and 90s, to kind of see where you fall in the pack. Just how much do we really have in common? We probably would be like all best friends if we knew each other. If we were like all in the same city, don't you think we'd all be like hanging out and best friends? That would be fun. We should do that. Let's see if we can put that together. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this monsoon that's going on passes over soon and it cools down, and we can have fall. I know I'll probably regret this, probably come around February when it's freezing cold, in my opinion. But right now, come on, I just want like 70s. 70s, not 90s, 70s. and no humidity. That's why I live in Southern California. I wanted to live in the dry air. I came here for the weather. And I so far have Georgia weather, which is where I'm from. So yeah, this whole move worked out really well this fall, didn't it? Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I've got good stuff coming up. I've got a haul coming up, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and some reviews that I'm gonna share with you too. So until next time, feel free to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave me a comment because I always love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.